Hello everybody and welcome to the comparison video of Farming Simulator 19 and 17. So this video is pretty much all about the graphics engine and the lighting in the upcoming FS19, but we do have two brand new FS19 screenshots to look at. We actually have 4 in total, 2 for FS17 and 2 for FS19. I'll also do a split view as well. So let's get straight into it and see the differences between both versions. So here we are stood in the harbour on San Lapacho. This is Farming Simulator 17. If we want to take a look at the same exact position at the same time in FS19, because obviously the San Lapacho map is being converted over and enhanced like I mentioned before, and as Giants has said before as well, we can turn it into this. Now the first thing which is incredibly striking, which hits me in the face straight away, is the dramatic overhaul of the sunset before, which I'll go back to in a minute. The sunset was just like this little haze in the background, but now it's been really enhanced and it hits you right in the face. We're looking directly into the sun here, so you can actually see the reflection of the sun in the puddle in front of us. This is all to do with the dynamic lighting which the game is going to feature, and actually if we look at the sky you can actually see exactly where the sun is. You can pinpoint the position. It's just above, I would say, just above the bridge, pretty much in line with the bridge, which is in the distance. We're looking towards the huge bridge which San Lapacho does have, which I've been to many times before in my videos, but you've probably been there as well in the Platinum Edition. Now I'm actually a very big fan of San Lapacho, but the one thing which really did not annoy me as such, but it sort of kept drawing my attention was the colours. The colours of San Lapacho were fairly solid. There wasn't much variety in each colour, not many different shades. I'll try and explain this a bit better in the next screenshot, but first let's just take a look at the side-by-side comparison of this one. This is when you can really appreciate the difference between the two lighting systems in both the games. The FS17 one is pretty good, and I wouldn't say it's bad at all. I really do like it. However, the one thing which is blindingly obvious here is that the sunset is just so much more dramatic in the 19 one. Looking back at the 17 one, that could possibly get away with being a fairly dull day, despite there not being many clouds in the sky, purely because the colouring is the same as in the daytime, maybe just a little bit darker, whereas the 19 one, the colours have actually transformed. They have turned very orange into this dramatic fiery sunset, which is very nice as well. Now obviously please do feel free to post down your own opinion on all of this. I'm going to try and be as honest as I can be, and actually I'm going to be a little bit more critical with the next photo, just really so Giants can possibly have a think about it or maybe improve in the future, because after all I fully support Farming Simulator a lot and I absolutely love the game. So this is the Farming Simulator San Lapacho screenshot with the Fendt Ideal Combine Harvester from FS19 in it, and well, this is the best opportunity for me to now explain what I think of the colours in the Farming Simulator 17 version. And I don't know if you'll agree, but compared to the Goldcrest Valley map, I found the colours to be a bit more cartoony. I don't know if you agree, but obviously that is not really a problem now because we're moving on to FS19. It's just I did find the colours, what's the word, flat? Not very many different shades. Maybe it's just because of where it is, maybe it's because of where it's set. A lot of sunshine is bringing out these very strong colours, but the reason why I thought of this is because I've seen the FS19 version of this screenshot and it isn't like this at all. It's more of what I would have sort of expected in the 17 version. So I don't know, again, please feel free to post your own opinions down below, but I would say that the colours in 17 were a little bit too bold and solid. But then of course everything is okay because it's now been dramatically improved, and the lighting system in this shot is just, well, I would say perfect. I do get a lot of critical comments whenever I say the word perfect about something, because nothing, surely, can be perfect. But I'm finding it hard to find a fault in the lighting system in this shot. I mean, the sky looks good. Obviously the clouds are in a different position. The lighting, the shadows being cast on the silos over there are, you know, very good. Again, the lighting on the Combine Harvester is very good. So I can't think of a fault. Honestly, I can't. Now this video is supposed to be about the graphics themselves, the lighting. However, I'm just going to point out one thing, and I don't know if this is going to be changed. This is actually alpha footage, so I probably shouldn't even bring it up at all. But looking at the crops and the textures, well, the textures of the ground especially, they're identical to FS17. This is possibly a good thing, possibly a bad thing. It depends on your opinion. But it's sort of making me think, does this mean they haven't done anything with the ground textures? Are they going to be the same? Is it going to still be 2D? I don't know. Like I said, I probably shouldn't even bring it up. It's just one thing I observed, and no doubt other people will as well. But with it being alpha footage, we can't really say. It's just impossible to say, because obviously there is a lot more development still to come, and no doubt it's going to improve even further. So when you go back to the side-by-side image, you then sort of see that there is a huge improvement to the ground textures, but I think this is probably to do with the shadows which are being cast. I should actually flip the photo around the other way as well so you can see it both ways. Then you can really see how much the crop on the left hand side is looking much more realistic. The shadow, the crop itself actually has a decent shadow being cast onto the ground. Even the stubble has a shadow, and if you look very carefully, even the very small ridges from where the seed drillers run, they're leaving a very small shadow too. So that in itself gives it a much more 3D realistic feel. Now that's everything I wanted to say, and obviously I have speculated a bit there, so don't take everything which I've said word for word, it's just my opinion. But yeah, what we've got now is a paragraph from Giants, and this is going to really explain what these screenshots are all about, so here goes. For Farming Simulator 19, we have made a lot of improvements to the Giants engine, and the result is impressive. A lot has happened, especially in the so-called post-processing. High dynamic range rendering allows us to display the complete spectrum of colours at the same time. The added bloom will make light irradiation much more realistic, thanks to SSAO. All objects in the game now cast their own shadows, which will be realistically cast thanks to the new light scattering technique. The sun on the new dynamic sky now serves as a light source, and the clouds, which are now voxel based 3D objects, reflect the light absolutely realistically. So that's what Giants say, and I think, yeah, we have actually seen a very good example of that in both of those two screenshots. Obviously, one was sort of midday by the look of it, the other one being evening. One screenshot I'd love to see is nighttime, what it would actually be like. Now obviously if there's no moon at all, if it's a new moon then it's going to be fairly dark, but if there is a full moon, or even a crescent moon, I wonder how the light would be emitted from the moon onto the map. That would be very interesting to see. Hopefully something like that will come to light very soon, but all we've got to do is wait and see. And actually so far I'm very impressed by the speed some of these screenshots are coming out for FS19. I think there's much more information this time round than there was for FS17, which is absolutely fantastic. Always good to keep the fans up to date. Now to finish off with, we're actually going to move back to the very first screenshot published for Farming Simulator 19, and the reason for this is because I had so many people saying, oh please just zoom a bit further into that tractor, because we think it's a class tractor. Now I have looked at it really close, and I can pretty much guarantee that it's a Fendt tractor, but we'll do it anyway. Okay, so there we go. It's not very impressive because we're so zoomed in, but hopefully you agree. I mean, I might still be wrong, but it just looks like a Fendt. The way that the front grille on the bonnet sits there, it's different to a class tractor. It does have red wheels, obviously, but class and Fendt both do. Again, the lid of the cab, the top of the cab is white, and yeah, that's an exact similarity. So I think all we can do really is speculate, but I think I would say 95% at least that is a Fendt tractor. Please post down below if you think otherwise, but I just thought it would be a good idea at the end of this video, instead of making another standalone video, just to zoom in and take a look. And finally, now we've seen the other two screenshots of the game, I think going back to this screenshot might still be a good idea, because now we can actually see more a wider angle here of the map, whichever map this is. Obviously it must be an upcoming one for 19. But again, we've got this volumetric fog which they go on about, and I think that is just what makes it so much more, what's the word? More like paradise even, because it's like your ideal shot, isn't it? It's just like the ideal world, which looks fantastic. Of course, maybe as well as this, it would be nice to have mud or something, because it's not always paradise, is it, in the farming world. There can be a lot of very tricky situations, and certainly in the UK at least, there is a lot of mud. So, I don't know. I think they're certainly on the right track. I think they're doing a fantastic job with the production of this game, from what we've seen so far. But even in this very early stage, this alpha stage, I guess we could still raise the question of, is this pretty much what the game is going to look like? If it is, fantastic, because it looks really good anyway. But is there going to be other stuff? Is there going to be dynamic ground? I can only say, really, because I'm sort of responding to my fans here more than anything, we're just going to have to wait and see. That's all we can do. We can't speculate, because, I mean, it's dead easy. You could easily say, yeah, it's going to have dynamic ground, but then you couldn't say that, because it might not do. And it might not need to, because as we've already seen, as these screenshots have proved, this lighting system, the way it's created these shadows, makes it pretty much look 3D anyway. But anyway, I won't keep going on about it. I think it looks fantastic. I think Giant's doing a fantastic job. And until the next video, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye for now.